Chicago. Ask someone to picture the city, and they will have trouble coming up with a concise description. When people think of New York City, they think of skyscrapers, subways, and muggers. When they think of Los Angeles, they think of sun, smog, and traffic. When they think of Detroit, they think of cars, factories, and decay. But for those of us that know, there's only one thing we think of when someone mentions Chicago: vampires. And tonight, we tell their story. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to McStabber Studios' Windy City After Dark. This is the Season 3 live Q&A with the cast of the show, including our newest member. I am, of course, Shanky McStabber.
And I am Mama McStabber, also known as Relyn Dare, and I play Jacqueline Durand of Clan Ventrue in Windy City After Dark.
I'm Lady Marowith, and I play Eleanor Thurston of Clan Malkavian on Windy City After Dark.
Hello, I am Ivy Raven, and I will start playing Genevieve Schutz in Season 4.
I'm Miriam, and I play Roscoe Acres, Clan Tremere, also in Windy City After Dark.
Gavin, and I play Lamar Cade of Clan La Sombra in Windy City After Dark.
I'm Mickey, and I play Sam Grant, Bruja, Windy City After Dark.
Sorry, I was muted for a second there. I'm pulling a Rev Ben Powers. As always, when we do these, our moderator, of course, is going to be Relyn Dare, who plays Jackie. When you have questions for the cast, if you have channel points, please use the channel points to highlight because it makes it easier for us to read. If you don't have enough channel points, that's fine. We'll try to keep an eye on them, but the highlighted ones actually makes it much easier for us to read the questions as they come in. And I want to open up, of course, by thanking the cast of the show being here for this live one, of course, and thanking Ivy Raven, our newest member, who's coming to the table. Some of you know what she's planning to play, some don't. I guess that's going to be questions for people, of course. But if you have any questions for the cast or the storyteller, this is your chance. And we'll even have questions for each other. I'm going to turn this over to my wife, of course, who's our MC for this stuff. I'm just the storyteller. I'm not good at moderating anything.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but no, but seriously, if you have questions for us, go ahead and post them in Twitch chat. And Timber Brad makes a comment, Mickey looking scrumptious. So we have a beautiful cast, and thank you, Timber Brad, for your compliment of Mickey Bear. And also, Ivy Raven here, she played Abigail Rawl, who was child of my character, Jackie. But she is actually going to be joining us in a dramatically appropriate time in season 4, hopefully before episode 5 in a club scene. But as Genevieve Schutz, also goes by Jenny. Now, what clan is Jenny?
So I don't know if I'm at liberty. No, I'm at liberty to answer that. Genevieve is a gangrel, which is a big surprise probably to most people who know me because I do not have big gangrel energy considering my feelings about werewolves.
Okay, so Evan Blade has a question. He wants to know, for everyone, what is everyone's favorite scene that they were not part of? So over the course of season 3, what was your favorite scene that you were not part of? I'm not going to point you out. You whoever feels moved to answer, go ahead and answer.
I'll go first.
Okay.
When Eleanor was relating to Sam the story of Balder, I basically could not look away, and I've heard the telling of that myth 1,000 times, and I think that was like by far the best version of it I've ever heard. And I just had to, if I had a hat, I'd take it off, I'd throw it across the room, but hats off because that was wonderful.
Oh, thank you. That's a great compliment. I'm glad it was entertaining, and of course, I must thank Mickey over here for being a great scene partner for that.
I will say that one of my favorites over the course of the season was actually the scene with Eleanor conversing with the demon in Ben's shop. That showed the immensity of Eleanor's courage and also her cunning, because she got a lot of information out of that demon in a very sly and subtle way. So I really loved that scene.
Could we get a brief recap of all the scenes?
You say that in jest, and yet I'm sitting here going through my, memory banks, and I'm just like, ooh, that one's good. Oh man,
Yeah, right.
Jesus
There were very
Christ,
many good-
yo,
There's a lot of good scenes.
Oh man,
I mean, I've got a couple that just sprang to the front of my mind.
Well, feel free to share more than one if you must.
Yeah, well, it's just like because they were both that came. When the guys went on the field trip, tracking down Lasky was pretty great. I enjoyed that they got to go do their thing. And then also Roscoe inviting not Ben into his car.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
If you were there and participating, what would you have told him to do? Not invite? Come on. This is Eleanor,
no,
the big red button.
That I'm saying that was I wasn't there, and it was a great scene. He just, hi, get in.
You would have loved to have been there asking questions.
Had Jackie been there, I would have been like, hit that motherfucker. Let's see if that thin blood body takes on a truck.
Hint, it used the lore of fundament. It would have.
Uh-huh.
Because it can change the physics of the universe.
Mhm.
So that wouldn't have done what you think it would have done.
But you know what? We could have tried.
you ever seen that movie Constantine where the truck hits the dude and it just pancakes against the dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been what happened. I know.
Yeah. LC, when you got by Tally, dude. Oh my God, that was pristine. When anytime Jackie and Eleanor are together, it's magic. And I look, I could sit here and list off a cavalcade of scenes that are just stellar. And but when Roscoe had his first sit down with Sun-Chi and actually didn't say what he saw.
That showed so much growth.
Oh man, he did some good work there. Lamar confronted by freaking Lupine and holding this shit together. Eleanor and Dolly. Oh
God, that broke my heart.
And Jackie and fucking Jack Astral. Oh man, F in the chat for freaking Astral.
Just wait, the real Fs are going to come during the intermissions when you get to see Tally versus Nolan Wilhelm. You'll get to see how that fight played out. Now, you already know how it ends, but like everything, it's not the destination that matters.
It's the journey that gets you there.
It's the journey that gets you there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
I was gonna say, as someone who was only in one scene briefly, one of my favorite scenes that I can think back on though was when the coterie finds Dolly's present for Eleanor. It showed that there was certain lines they weren't, at least for Eleanor's character, she wasn't willing to cross, which I thought was kind of important because I think most people were assuming, oh, she's going to go for the slurp. But because she's always pushing the buttons. So she was like, oh, slurp. I was sitting there thinking, oh, shit, here we go. But the fact that she didn't and that everybody kind of rallied around, and I mean, you expect them to rally around, but you saw that it was more cohesive and it wasn't something that acted as even a possible splintering or creating cracks. It sort of cemented any possible cracks.
I gave it a 50-50 as storyteller, whether she was going to slurp him or not. It was about a 50-50 in my eyes. Now, Eleanor or Lady Merriwith there, she may have a different percentage chance of that happening, but as storyteller, I was looking at 50-50.
It crossed her mind, but very briefly, because no.
Don't want that voice in her head.
Yeah. Now that's disgusting. We're not going to imbibe anything like that.
We found a button Eleanor won't push.
We found the line.
Yep. Storyteller, do you have a particular scene or a few scenes?
No, I will say as storyteller, I love the fact that I can sit back and not be part of the scenes. Not every table can you, as storyteller, just sit back and watch the players play without feeling you have to be in the scene or guiding the scene or directing the scene or steering things a certain way. As storyteller, I love the fact that we can have a scene where I just keep my mouth shut and just watch it play out, because it's not something I've seen as often as, honestly, as it should be. But that's just a personal thing for me.
And were there any scenes that Roscoe weren't in that you enjoyed a lot?
Well, there were a couple that come to mind. One was Jackie and Nolan, when she's basically explaining to him that it's not going to continue the way it was.
Yeah.
That was a little hard.
That was real hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
and I love Astral so much. Oh my God, he's not here with us today in the stream, but he's in the chat right now. Please, please, please give applause to Astral, because he is a magnificent role player and he is an awesome and
give
amazing
that man his flowers
ST
while he's here.
Yes,
I'm going to say as ST, even though his guest character died. Guests are not like core cast.
Right.
He will be back as a different guest character.
We're just going to give it a little bit of time for people to disassociate him from Nolan to
but
becoming
he will
someone
be back
else.
because he was a great addition, and I like using cast members or guest players to fill roles that are useful and that I feel they fit for. And we will have a new guest role for Astral because we love playing with him.
I gave him such relatively speaking, bare bones stuff to go on with that character, and he just ran with it and delivered time after time after time. And in our scenes together, it was just a decadent pleasure because he just was so good. And I got nervous before playing with him because he's so good. I felt like I was punching above my weight class here, you know? But yeah, no, I'm glad you really enjoyed that, because that was a hard scene for even me to role play out, because that's the state that Jackie's in. She's like, okay, enough bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So next question is from Ravnos Archon for Ginny. Given that she's played with the coterie before, what is the avenue you're looking forward to exploring the most with your new character?
That's a difficult one. So I think with Genevieve, it's kind of trying to explore different parts of the city, if that makes sense. A lot of stuff so far has happened almost exclusively within the Club Confession or whatever it's called, and some of the surrounding areas around. So in their specific domain, and the city is so large, and there's a lot of opportunities for things outside of that. And so probably my character is going to help kind of bring some of that outside of the domain stuff in, hopefully. That's in theory. We'll see. If it's all club scenes, that's not my fault. So.
All right. And then Ebon Blade asked, for everyone, what was your most surprising curveball for you?
I'm going to answer that one first. Devin and I had talked about the issue with Dolly, about Dolly replacing a memory. And I'd come up with some ideas for memories. And I said, but it's up to you. You can decide whatever memory you want to have been the one to replace the one that Dolly took. And Devin didn't tell me her decision until we recorded that episode. So for me, the biggest shock was what memory she chose to have Dolly replace it with, because I wasn't expecting that. Came out of left field from nowhere. I was like, oh, that's a oof. That's like big oof right there. That's big pain energy. That's mine.
Go for it, Jenny. You posted it in Zoom chat.
So there was an attempt to probably integrate Abigail a little bit more in season 3 for information, because there was a lot of information that was supposed to be coming down. And so I did my guest appearance in episode 2, and then I was scheduled to do one in episode 5. The problem is that Eleanor's crit premonition skyrocketed the story so far and so fast that it completely destroyed like 6 episodes worth of stuff they were planning on doing, including my guest appearance, because I was going to have a dinner party with I was planning on having a dinner party that happened with Astral and Jackie. So it was supposed to be this kind of business meeting of sorts. It was hinted, I believe Jackie says something in episode 3 or 4
that she had
that kind of hints at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I literally planned a menu and everything. I did. I went out for it. And then Eleanor was like, crit premonition. And I got a message like, yeah, you're not going to be showing up in episode 5.
We unfortunately aren't going to play that out.
I was like, okay, good to know. So that was my curveball.
Sorry, I didn't realize you'd had all that prep that the dice gods just ruined.
Yeah, I didn't say anything because I didn't want people feeling bad.
You have plans. The dice god goes lol.
And it wasn't me. That's not me trying to make Eleanor or Devin feel bad. It was 100%.
That was just a big curveball. None of us expected that.
If you wondered how much the episodes themselves drive the story, that tells you.
That tells you.
We had thought we'd had, we have to arrange guests, so we'd had plans of bringing her back in. And guess what? The story as it played out put the kibosh on that shit. Yep. And that's the way it works in a game that is actually, as much as sometimes it feels things are awful polished with the dialogues between characters, it is not. There's no script. It's all improv. And that will just show you sometimes just how much it is.
And we have to adapt on the fly.
Yes,
Truly.
we do.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else got some curveballs they want to throw out?
My second and last meeting with Sun Chi, a lot came out there. I was really kind of surprised, and I was sort of expecting to not make it out of that meeting, at least not in good shape.
That close. I rolled that close. Because had she rolled worse than she did to keep, or had the one in her rolled less successes than she did, she would have punished you for your transgression.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't have killed you, but it would have hurt.
Yeah.
I think for me, the curveball that got me, but it was actually the curveball I threw at the ST, because the ST legit told me, I did not see you doing that. I'm going to mention that because that was one that I just had an inspired thought to do. And I did like some last minute coordination with Lady Merriwiff and a few others. I'm like, okay, so, this is probably what's going to happen. Would you have this on you? Okay, I'm going to use that, And I ended up, it was when I did the passing a message through Destiny as she was getting ready to exit the stream to the Anarch Baron about a Luke. Bill did not see me doing that as Jackie. He did not see that coming at all. It threw him for a bit of a loop. He's like, what the hell did my wife just pull?
No, it wasn't even pull off. It was, what the hell did my wife just do? The consequences of this are going to come up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I throw shit in the fire and see how it pans out. That's the way I play. Anyone else with curveballs?
I was going to say the 8 successes with the critical on premonition, but that's already been covered. So instead, I will go when very as a role player, it's like I sit there and I absorb what people are saying and things like that, and I try to plan a response algorithm, if you will. When Lamar, or when I'm sorry, not Lamar. When Eleanor, I was expecting her to lean into the ingenue, lean into the tee, and then she didn't. She's like, "Oh, you're not buying it, okay?" And I'm just like, "Oh God, that's terrifying." Yeah, that one was that was a bit of a curveball that I didn't get any bad on, and the this, and now I'm blanking on the actual scene because too many friggin' punches to the head. But the one where we had to do our first on-screen,
yeah, that
when
was
we had to do our first on-screen check-in.
Yeah, that was the one oh God, the first on-screen check-in.
Yeah,
That was when Eleanor and Jackie were having that conversation
About Dolly.
About Dolly.
And I'm like, I'm sitting, I can't fucking deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like,
that
God,
got heavy real fucking
damn.
quick.
Couldn't look
that
at
was
the
good.
screen, and we had to do a check-in.
I mean, nobody was making eye contact with us.
For
No.
those that don't understand what we mean by check-in is if anyone at this table has the right, if a scene seems too heavy, they put up this.
If they're okay.
If they're okay, and if one player does it, everybody has to respond before we're going to continue a scene.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, Mickey wasn't even able to look at the monitor at the time because of what was happening, and I actually had to say table check because we had to check in to make sure everybody was okay to continue.
Mm-hmm.
One nice thing about pre-recording episodes is if someone at the table was not okay to continue, I would have stopped recording and given the time we need to deal with the emotional bleed and the care of the situation so that we could resume recording and pick back up. That's one of the big reasons why I like pre-recording vampires. If we have a situation like that, the viewers aren't impacted and don't have to sit through a bunch of breaks that aren't necessary, but we, the players, can address these kind of situations in a proper way.
And I just, again, hats off to Reelin and Lady Merriwiff over here for another stellar fucking scene. Oh my God. That was fucking amazing.
Any other curveballs?
No, we covered all the ones that I could think of.
Okay.
It's mostly me going, ha ha. Take that.
I also loved the first time that Eleanor fucking did clairvoyance. That threw some folks for a loop.
And that was actually me right before it happened, sending Devin a message, Lady Merriwiff. I sent her a message that literally said, "Hey, do you mind if I have your clairvoyance first manifest by just throwing it on you?"
I think my reply was all caps. Yes.
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 That's exactly the reply.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, We are so messed up at this table, but it's glorious.
That's a great way to handle the first time it manifests. She had already bought the power, but that's a great way to handle it.
No, it's fantastic. All right. So Timber Brad asks, legit though, how has Roscoe survived this long? Typical Tremere hate aside, he smashes that big red button almost as much as Eleanor. He was sheltered.
I would like to answer this. I would like to answer this because Bosco has this ability to bat his eyelashes, give a little hair flip wink and a smile, and shit just seems to work for him.
As ST, he has survived because he pushes the envelope, but he never quite crosses the line to the point where people have to retaliate for what he's doing. He runs right up to that edge, but he never crosses the line to where the consequences of his actions is death. Even with Sun Chi, he has not crossed a line to the point where Sun Chi's, whatever's controlling Sun Chi, is going to take care of him. Even with the demon. The demon says he's not allowed by his agreement, but you know damn well there's loopholes to every agreement. And never trust a demon. Especially one who is technically a Ravener. For those that understand Demon to Fallen, you'll know what a Ravener is. Yeah. They are the ones who feel that the only way to solve the issue of their falling is to punish creation by destroying it all.
Okay, so Ravnos Archon asks, for everyone, which SBC do you want less interactions with, and which one do you want more of?
I mean, I'd love to get my mitts on Lasky, but that's, just pure wish fulfillment right there. I would love to have a solid 48 hours with him in a Connex or in a shipping container somewhere in the middle of yeah.
Jackie wants less spooky shit and more non-spooky shit. Verlaine is different, but Jackie wants less spooky shit.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to let everybody go before me.
SPCs we want to see more and less of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one SPC I wanted to see less of kind of left, so that worked out.
Genghis the Dingus.
Oh, okay. The Lamar wanted to see less of kind of left. I feel like Lamar doesn't see much of his clan, but given how things have now shaken out, I think he's going to be okay with that in the future. Or at least that's where he'd like to be. You know what? I personally, Gavin, like Nero. More Nero would be cool. So that's just me.
Okay.
I mean, I second that. More Nero. I like Nero a lot. Less snakes generally, so hopefully that's what's coming to him.
Yeah, forget that guy.
I forget that guy. Though I have a suspicion that there'll be some interesting SPC interactions coming up season 4, but you didn't hear it from me.
If Alexa took a sun bath or, got hit by a meteorite.
Yeah, Luke and
something.
Alexa pretty much need to become Ash.
Yeah. I have to say it's been nice seeing more Damien, seeing, kind of a little more different sides of Damien than just like, he's sort of, the boss of quote security, if you will. So that's been cool.
I think we can all agree we'd all love to see a lot less of Ballard. But that's kind of hard given his corpulent nature. Yeah.
I've kept him to a minimum, okay?
Do better.
I guess I would personally like to see some more of the Anarch involvement because it's always different. You see that stark kind of difference between Cam and Anarch whenever they interact, especially when they've had those scenes in prior seasons even. So I guess I'm kind of thinking like a little bit more Anarch is always probably better, but
Remember you said that.
Hey, I have no preferences. I'm just happy to be here.
Remember you said that.
And Urine was going to say something.
Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue, and now I can't remember what it was. The one that I would want to see more of would be Zal, of course.
Everybody thirsty for Zal.
After not seeing her after the first episode, it's kind of a I was like, I'd like to see her again, but
Oh, you're going to see her again.
I was like, trouble comes with her though, and that's the problem.
You're the one who
Lamar's her friend now.
Yeah, you're the one who had your wife die
Yeah.
as a character choice, and then asked if she made it over to the spirit realm. Which, if you ask that question, the answer will always be yes from me as storyteller. You will see Zal again. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
And the one I'm not sure whether I want to see more of or not is Bronwyn.
She's coming.
Yeah, she's coming.
Jackie finally has the status to get an invite.
I do.
Into the Blue Velvet.
Jackie has the status to get an invite to Blue Velvet now. To get that VIP access. But I will say, from my character's perspective is actually different from my own personal perspective. From my character's perspective, she has lost all interest in Zal and doesn't care if she ever sees her again. As a matter of fact, she would probably prefer if she never sees her again. Because there's too much weird shit about that one. Just way weird. And then one she would actually like to see more, I am not going to lie, would be Cedric. Because Cedric is a fascinating fucking nos to her.
What about his super rat?
She wants to see the rat. For real. She's not some fucking Toreador that's going to be squeamish. She'll go see the rat.
There's a joke there.
Oh, there is a joke there. Show me your rat, baby. But no, I would say as far as, picking specific SPC, I mean, there's a lot of SPCs. Actually, she would probably like to see more of, what's her name? The nosy bitch.
Oh.
Amelia, I think is her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amelia. Amelia is a fun character, too. So I think Jackie would like to spend more time with her because she's a fun fucking character. She's very self-aware. But yeah, those two. And of course, Alug needs to be Ash. He just needs to be Ash because he has just crossed lines with Jackie that she is not going to fucking forgive. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry. There'll be more of that, too.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his own plans.
Oh, I'm sure he does. Throw him at me, ST. It's fine. Let's see. Next question is from Ebon Blade. What is everyone looking forward to most in the next season?
Not dying.
That's legit.
I've got, from my point of view, I'm looking forward to the fallout of the end of season 3, because there's going to be a lot of fallout from that, just in general.
Yeah, it was a major event. So,
yeah,
and more than one way, there's a major event because you've got Lamar. Tally is severed ties, but how much loyalty does Lamar still have to Tally? Because, and Tally did say he would be in touch, which is an interesting concept. And there's a whole lot there. And then you have an Archon that was killed in the Camarilla City. Marjusticar Lucinda is in town. Now, is it going to become public knowledge, or is that something that they're going to keep under wraps because this is Chicago, the jewel of the Camarilla. Do they want it out that Tally could snatch an Archon right out of the center of Chicago? That doesn't look good for the tower. Doesn't make them look strong. Is that going to become general knowledge or not? There's all kinds of stuff from the fallout of this. And then, of course, Eleanor and Dolly. There's a lot to look forward to for season 4 on that one.
Yeah, no mention of how it impacts Jackie at all. That don't matter.
Jackie's part of the fallout of the Archon dying. It's not for me to say how it's going to impact you about your sire dying. That's not, I'm talking from my point of view of story. I don't control the interaction you're going to have or Jackie's fallout.
She just lost a Mala. That's fucking huge.
But that from a storyteller's perspective, that's not for me to decide. That's all on you. So that's not something I can look forward to. I just wait for you to do it and see what you got. And then I will make sure that things react accordingly.
I will say from my perspective, what I'm looking forward to most over season 4 is how my character gets from where she is at the moment season 3 ended to a place that isn't a fucking wreck. Because that's going to be a process for her. She lost a lot that night.
And jumping from that, I think on the opposite end of it, I think Lamar, what I'm looking for is how Lamar goes forward from this point, because now he and Jackie now have to interact with each other on a regular basis, knowing what they know about each other. And before, Lamar was like, if this doesn't work out, I at least still have my clan I can back up and work with. And now that Tally has thrown him to the wolves, it's gone from, I think he is very much not feeling the whole La Sombra together thing right now. And the only backup he has left is his coterie, which now they know he's kind of left out a couple of things here and there. So I'm interested to see how he works out of that and where he goes from there.
I mean, that's valid.
I look forward to Bosco becoming the head of the Chicago Chancery and eventually Prince, because
No.
Oh,
Not gonna
God,
happen.
save us all.
Oh, thank you, Jackie.
Is that a red button he won't push?
I believe in you. I believe in you, Bosco. You got this. And I say that because there's so much Tremere hate in chat. I got to freaking counter it with some positivity from my boy Bosco.
It
But,
just sounds hateful. Coming from you, Mickey. I'm sorry. It just sounds hateful because he'll become Portia's next hand puppet. So
the thing is, at this point in the game, we're not allowed to evict tenants who are renting from us. There's a moratorium on that, and I'm not dealing with that. So just not going to be there.
Real talk, I'm looking forward to see, because this is a living, breathing world, and whether or not we take part in it or not, I'm looking forward to seeing what the end state of the South Side is going to be. If we get to see it this season, it could take longer than the season to get to. But generally just watching that sort of play out.
The two involved in the South Side War are two very canny, even though Loden is crazy. They're two very canny and experienced kindred who are well-versed in fighting. It's not going to be a quick war. It's not going to be a pleasant war. There will be lulls that appear like nothing is happening, but there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes. And then there'll be quick flashes of just intense violence and destruction, and then lulls again as they maneuver. It is, the South Side's going to be interesting. And I will say, as storyteller, I don't know who's going to win.
I love that story, though. I love that story. That was one that Gavin and I came up with together, and we were like, I love this story.
As storyteller, I can't tell you who's going to win yet. I haven't fully analyzed, and there's also outside factors that could tip the balance one way or the other. And then ultimately, it's a question of then whoever wins, what happens when Winnetka
rolls through
to sweep up the pieces.
other than on a more personal note, it's like we as a coterie are at a tipping point, and depending on what gets said, what gets done, it could go very good or very bad. And what I'm hoping for. I hope it goes very good, but we shall see what happens.
I'm looking forward to our new player coming in and introducing her character. Personally,
It always shakes up the table dynamic a bit when you
Oh,
add a new
yeah.
player, and it makes really interesting story when you do that too.
Just don't premonition her.
I'm looking forward to my introduction where I bore through a Luke's chest and out of him. So, like, surprise!
That'd be epic.
Jenny, the face hugger. I didn't know there was a face hugger clan of vampires, but now we know.
Chest popper.
Chest
chest
popper.
burster, chest burster.
But you got to get put in there by the face hugger
No,
first.
no. I'm coming from behind him. He's just not going to hear me coming. So,
Yeah,
Clan
it's
Friday the
more like that
13th.
scene in that other show.
Hashtag phrasing.
All right. So Maddox asked for everyone, which of the more inhumane kindred in the story do you enjoy watching or interacting with?
Nero.
Yeah,
Nero.
definitely Nero.
Nero.
Nero's interesting.
There's a big reveal about him though in
Uh-huh.
that masquerade breach scene, that his beast was let free again for once.
And honestly, Martin is interesting.
Yes.
Martin is very fucking interesting. I look forward to eventual reacquaintance between Jackie and him because he said he'd be in touch.
He will. I've got
Mhm.
plans for him. He is definitely
He's lower humanity.
there's an
for
intensity
sure.
in him that not many kindred in the city can match.
Mhm.
And it's not humane.
Right. It's not humane. So he's very interesting for a lower humanity kindred.
Puts on a good front to act humane. All the favors he does and
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
no.
nice things and all the
He's
boons
a
he
monster,
does without,
but he's a fascinating monster.
Yeah, but it's all a facade. More importantly, how is he going to react with Destiny gone?
Yeah.
That is going to impact his psychology.
I mean, I will say that Jackie is under the assumption that if he hasn't killed her yet, he probably isn't.
But he
Not
doesn't.
to say that's guaranteed, but I'm just saying that's generally her assumption. You know, he's a fanatic. He would have already killed her by now.
But
if
he
he
doesn't
wanted to.
seem like the kind of kindred that goes along without something to focus on.
Yeah.
So what is going to take the focus that he had for Destiny now that she's not in the city? What is going to replace that?
Yeah. That's going to
I
be
was-
interesting.
Was wondering whether he was going to follow her out to the West Coast.
He's meant it
he's-
when he said he couldn't leave the city yet. He's
Hmm.
got obligations that he cannot turn his back on. Which raises the question, what can keep him there?
Right.
Okay, Timber Brad asks, is there anything in the V5 catalog, either current or announced upcoming, that you hope to see some more of in Season 4?
Look, we've got enough on our fucking plates.
Yeah.
I want to put more of the outskirts of Chicago in the game. Gary, Milwaukee,
Milwaukee
those
is
areas.
a completely different city. It's not outskirts. It's
Well, yeah, but it's
hours
covered in
away.
it's considered in the surrounding area for Kindred because there's a whole bunch of stuff, more of the Goblin Road stuff. There's a lot of interesting the Null Zone where magic doesn't work. There's a lot of interesting areas just outside the city and in the surrounding cities that I hope to bring in. Maybe
I'd like
not
to just
season
get out
4.
of Wicker Park.
You're stuck in Wicker Park,
Yeah,
the
we've got-
Undercity. I want to bring more Undercity in.
That'd be cool. That'd be
I'd
cool.
like to see that.
We've got so much to deal with. We need to friggin' start. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get some solutions in place. We need to get some things closed up and be able to then reach out and explore some. Yeah.
I want some Undercity shit because the Undercity is fascinating from a storyteller perspective, of course.
Okay. Anyone have any response to that beyond that? No. Okay. No, because basically with everything that has been out so far, that even Bill has added to our fantasy grounds. There's just so much. There is so much that we've barely scratched the surface. We have barely scratched the surface. So a lot of us haven't even like read everything that is available yet because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves because there's just so much.
I haven't read it all yet.
Right. So yeah, I'm not, I think as players and for our characters' perspectives, yeah, no, we've got way too much on our plates right now to be thinking that far outside. So, all right. Ravnos Archon asks, for everyone, did you get to choose your flashbacks coming into season 3? And if you could choose one memory to bring up in season 4, what would that be?
I know no one knows anything about my character yet, but there is a couple very pivotal moments that showed my when we did the session 0 that showed my character's kind of metal or whatever, as it were. And so I kind of look forward to any of those where I can kind of espouse a little bit about like why I'm doing what I'm doing, or if I am doing something, or my reasoning behind it, so that people have a better idea of my character's like headspace.
So
I know a lot of other people.
Got it.
Well, I mean, a lot of other people have had opportunities to do those kinds of things, and so I know a lot of people have kind of viewers have an idea of where a lot of other cast members stand. So for me, that's probably the big thing I'm looking forward to for my character at some point. It doesn't have to be in season 4 necessarily, but it, working to that point. So,
and I will answer the other part of the question. I generally picked the Memoriam flashback scenes based on their history. And then after I figured out what the scene was, I went to the players to get their input about how the scene would play out. But the actual content I came up with because they weren't a traditional memoriam anyway. They were a forced memoriam by an outside force that was causing them to have them. So it wouldn't be a normal memoriam where the kindred wants to remember something. This is something where the outside force is trying to understand these kindred. So they saw these pivotal moments through their mind so that they could understand better who they were dealing with. And then I took input afterwards because that way that once they were told what the basic idea of the memoriam was, the details of what would be fleshed out, I got a lot more input from the players on.
There is a memory that I would not mind Jackie re-experiencing at some point, but I won't reveal it now because I don't think it would actually happen in season 4. That may be season 5 or season 6 stuff that happens, maybe. So don't want to give too many spoilers, but I have something as a potential plot hook in the future for her that might trigger a memoriam. So. Okay.
We shall see.
We shall see, because it may not even play out. Who knows? Okay, Timber Brad asks, everyone, is there a look for Shanky as ST that you'd like to see?
Birthday suit.
Birthday suit. Oh my God.
Don't bring up French maid. There's a qualifier. The only way you'll see me in a French maid's costume, and that has to be satisfied before I will be shown in a French maid's costume. Thank you.
I want to see him in the flight attendant's outfit, like the female one with the hat and everything.
Oh, like the old school Braniff one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do like the
little Pan Am action.
Yeah.
Are we talking full body shot, or you just want to see me just from the shoulders up like normal?
Full body shot, of course.
Both.
Both.
Come on.
I'll have to figure out the qualifier for that one too, because there's a stipulation about when it'll occur. I have to figure out that one.
I would like my character to live.
Oh, come
So
on.
whatever look accomplishes living, that's what you want. Got it.
Lance over there just like, no thanks. I choose life.
Lance has already seen the whole front of my pants get ripped open when he helped me move one time. So he's seen more than he ever wanted to see.
Yeah, there's no topping that. I mean,
the thrust of this topic is buy your tickets for Stabberfest now.
See, the problem is that I've memed him so much already. I can't fear making another meme. So I've already dug my own grave.
All right, Timber Brad asks everyone, is there a big red button scenario for your character that hasn't happened that you'd like to see come up in season 4?
No.
No.
No, there isn't, or you don't want it to come up season 4?
I don't want there
I don't-
there
We've
there
already
is
pushed a lot of red buttons this season.
there is only one truly red button scenario I can envision for Jackie, and I really never want it to come up. And that would be something happens where Etienne is fatally wounded and she embraces him.
And let the dice fall where they may.
Mm-hmm. Because she would embrace him rather than let him die. He is too valuable of an asset as a Ventrue. So, yeah. I never want to see that come up because
And
that is her touchstone.
Would he ever forgive her?
He
for it?
never would.
Because he's made his choice. He's been
made
offered
his choice.
kindred before, and
He has multiple
refuses it.
times and refuses it. So, yeah. He would probably never forgive her for it, and it would forever end the Etienne-Jackie partnership.
Anyone else?
Eleanor's always pushing the red buttons. I don't know that it's going to be something that comes out of nowhere that I can think of because she just is constantly all of the red buttons in play. I think she's pushed. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think of ones. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's many left that, if I put a red button, you're pushing it anyway. So
Okay. I hope I didn't miss any questions so far. So now I'm next to Maddox, who didn't highlight. I'm trying to catch ones that aren't highlighted, but please, if you can't, use your points.
did Gavin want to reply to the red button?
Please go for it.
It looked like you were going to say
I'm
something. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, Lamar might have a couple of red button scenarios. If he ever sees Tally or Lily again, it might just be time to slide the storyteller my character sheet because he big mad. He big mad about that.
Justifiably so.
he who fucketh around
Finds out.
finds out. Yeah.
Findeth, outeth.
Okay. So Maddox says, everyone, if you could sire or sire again, what would your character look for in a potential childer? That's a hard no for Sam siring.
Yeah. Sam has feelings about the undead condition and would not inflict that on anybody if he had a choice.
The thing that Lamar would look for would also be the thing that makes him go, yeah, doing this would be a bad idea. Because someone with like ambition, intelligence, and being ruthless enough to get the job done. It's like, I like that. But if I embrace you, chances are I am your next meal. And it's like, then I'd have to I'd have to lock you in a coffin for 50 years and throw it in the ocean until you figure out that, you can point that at anybody you want. That's not me.
Well, Roscoe doesn't really have any desire to embrace anyone either because Tremere doesn't fit well on his shoulders. He didn't come by it as being one who was Tremere material.
You were given that choice, death or embrace.
Right.
And I'm betting there's times that Roscoe wishes he had chosen death over the embrace at least once or twice in his history because of what he lost.
Right, exactly. And besides, in order to support the clan, I'd have to embrace someone who's creepy. And
then Timberbrad would be all upset.
I know, right?
Oh, we should bring you Timberbrad in as an SPC and have Bosco embrace him.
God damn.
I kind of book it, ship it.
So we know Jackie has sired again, and I imagine she'd look for pretty much the same qualities.
Not necessarily. Jackie would know when she saw it that she wanted it for embrace. That's kind of ideally she wants to embrace Etienne because he would make a magnificent fucking Ventrue, but she honors his wishes. as best as she can. So she opted for Abigail because Abigail was well positioned to be of great use to her Jackie's endeavors. Now, there was also a fondness that developed between Jackie and Abigail, but truly it was a utilitarian, pragmatic choice. It really was. And has served Jackie and Abigail both well, because Abigail was able to get some power and influence that she needed to actually make some changes she wanted to make, and Jackie was able to get the intelligence she needed that she couldn't get. So it's one of those things that it worked out for both of them. But she would know, in a potential child, she would know it when she sees it. It would be something that she could use and something that she cannot get easily herself.
I'm waiting to hear Eleanor's answer, because the one thing we have not seen on screen is Eleanor's feelings towards the kindred condition, whether she likes being a kindred, whether she would wish being a kindred on someone else, not to mention the Malkavian curse on someone else.
And it's mostly that Malkavian curse that she would not be willing to pass that to somebody else.
Not even Michael?
I mean, she schooled Michael, and it's really, for her, that was kind of a power trip, and kind of, as everyone probably noticed, that, she wasn't really stopping him from being annoying.
No, she wasn't.
Or a problem.
But I also suspect it highlighted what, if you made a child,
yes, it
what
did.
would happen.
It did. Seeing that, because, Michael's just a ghoul, if she stops feeding him the blood, he'll be fine. He can go back to whatever, I guess. Probably not, but I mean, hypothetically, it doesn't, that would not stay with him.
Therapy still has a chance for him.
Exactly. Therapy works. But for someone being embraced, that she would make them like that, or something like that. And that's not cool. Yeah, she's not down with that. I can't really think of a situation in which she would want to embrace someone. It would have to be a really dire, and perhaps even she's not in a complete right frame of mind to do that.
Let me make a note.
I would legit say that right there shows you that Eleanor is not actually crazy.
Not really.
She really isn't. She has her
She's got her problems.
She's got her problems, but she's not actually crazy.
One of her curses is actually her visions of all things,
Right.
because she never sees good things ever.
Right.
Yep.
One of the
Especially-
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
One of the things I appreciate about the way Devin and Shanky, by extension, treat Malkavians is crazy is not a overly descriptive term.
It's not.
And you need to, if you're going to play this clan, you need to understand that the wide diaspora of conditions that one could be afflicted with does not instantly make one insane.
Right.
Like, and
It's just a different way of viewing the world, which is
yeah. And the fact
different.
that Shanky hit the nail on the head, and again, I appreciate the way y'all play it, is it's not crazy. It's just
different.
There is a layer that she has to, there's an obstacle that she has to get through in order to fire synapses to
process,
exist, and well, not just process, but exist
Function.
and function. Thank
Function.
you. That's the word
Yeah.
I'm looking for. Function.
Function.
Yeah, well, it's just the way I kind of am approaching it with Eleanor, and kind of how I approach it across the board is that level of realism where, like, mental illness is a thing. It takes many forms. There's all kinds of different afflictions that someone could have, and multiples at one time. And for a kindred, it's just that, but more. And that's the struggle, is, fighting that, or learning to live with it, or whatever works best.
And of all the applicants, again, Devin was the only one who I allowed the option to play a Malkavian, because she was the only one who came to the table with a Malkavian concept that, to me, fit and would work and would be acceptable. Because for those that don't know this,
Didn't treat it as a joke.
if you see, it's hard to see in my light. I wear a Malkavian signet ring. And I wear it for a reason, because I take that clan very seriously. and I don't like jokes. It's part of why Sun had to die. I did not like the trope that they did with Sun, and one way or another, he was not going to be a big part of my stream.
No, good riddance to Sun.
Yeah.
So, for that question about siring, I know we don't know really anything about Jenny yet because she hasn't shown up in game, but Jenny has been around long enough to possibly consider at some point, would she? And if so, what would she look for?
See, I was thinking about this the whole time. I don't know how many children or potential childer that my sire has, but I feel like the backstory I've written for my sire so far is there was very specific criteria that were met. And I feel like one of those criteria was chain breaking, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now. But I feel like if Ginny was going to sire, she would be doing it in part to be breaking chains for another. And in trying, because she doesn't necessarily lament the being a vampire or kindred. She's looking at it as it's a means to an end. And so she would be looking for someone else who has similar qualities to herself, but that can maybe not do it better, but can at least appreciate it and continue on kind of like her legacy that she's kind of inherited to a degree. Which doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but
It
maybe
will
someday.
later. All right. So, John Cena fan 123. I'm sure that's like a John Cena fan. For everyone, have you guys ever did that Vampire the Masquerade official quiz Jason Carl put on his Twitter? What clan did it say you were? And he said that his was Malkavian. I actually did it.
Right there.
I actually did it, and I did it 3 times, and all 3 times it made me a Ventru.
Let me put
Okay,
on my
fine.
shock face.
I know, right? Surprise!
You don't
trying-
say.
I'm trying to remember. I know the first time I took it, I either got Gangrel or Banu. I can't remember which one it was because I was like, "This isn't me." I think it was actually Gangrel because I was pissed. I have
And look at what you're playing.
Yeah, I know. And then I took it a second time and it gave me Nos, and I was like, "Hell yeah!" So yeah,
The thing about those quizzes, they're very easy to influence.
yeah, I know. The second
Yeah.
time I took it, there was like one question that I answered just barely differently, and I was like, "This will get me Nos," and it did. So
Yeah.
I got Toreador.
I can totally see it.
I can see it.
I could totally see you playing a badass fucking.
Yeah, I can see you
Toreador.
pulling off Toreador.
Oh yeah. As a former Toreador player, I can totally fucking see it. Okay. Bobby Terry says for Mickey, how did you feel your first full session went? Season 3 was your premiere session,
Yeah,
really?
full season, I assume is what he meant. The full season.
No,
he was
or
in.
first full session.
Well, I assume
or
he
season.
means season.
Yeah.
Oh, there were some ups, there were some downs. I'm in this. I've said this many times. If this game weren't streamed, it would not matter a lick because I'm just when you find the right table, it's worth its weight in fucking gold. And boy, fucking howdy, is this the right table? Holy shit.
Yeah, but if it wasn't streamed, our sessions would run 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, they would.
Because
Yeah,
we
they
already
would.
have to rein that back a little sometimes because it's a streamed format and you got to account for time and make it a focus for the stream. But yeah,
how do I think the first full season went? Well, to answer both versions of the question, first session, I was very nervous. Prior, well, I don't know if nervous. I was anxious to get it started because the wait is always the worst part. Once I was in it and I was grooving with the music, it was easy. Because again, this table is fantastic. And then afterwards I was like, I want to keep playing. the whole season, with the exception of an instance where the McStabbers lost power and we had to Shanky had to put forth a
monumental
downright
effort.
Herculean freaking Atlas like effort to freaking fix that snafu. That was a low point in the season just because out of game it was like where we were at was so high tension and then it just stopped. It was like, oh shit, and so
Talk about curveball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
then
was
steps
that
were
was when our
taken.
transformer blew right in our fucking
No,
yard.
that was the one outside the neighborhood blew that night.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
But so that was a low point just because for me being able to like you get into character and then you get out of character, and because that happened it was like never really got out of character.
And you're a player that needs the aftercare.
Oh yeah, I love my
So am I.
aftercare. Cuddle me, baby.
Yeah, cuddle me, because I got to process out.
Everyone's different in what I mean. I don't need aftercare, but for those that do need it, that abrupt it stopped before it even got to the end is kind of tough on people.
Mm-hmm.
But we improvised, we adapted, we overcame. We came back later on that week and knocked it out of the park again betwixt Bosco and Eleanor, and everything was copacetic. Some of the for me personally, some of the best role play I think I've ever done, because I have wonderful people with whom to volley back and forth with. I being able to have a heartfelt, meaningful scene with Irian down here, something that heretofore I can't remember ever, for me personally, having seen him do, and being able to have that with him, it was like, that was really nice. Lamar, and without getting too into the weeds, because I don't want to be sitting here for the next half hour just extolling the virtues of my fellow players, even though I could. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I wish everyone could experience the joy of finding the right table. Yeah.
I think I can speak for the cast in response. We love you too, Mickey.
I've said it multiple times. I will say that ever since going on this streaming journey as McStabber Studios, I have gotten to play with some of the best damn players I've ever met in my life, and had some of the best damn tables I've ever seen in my life. And it's not just the Windy City. Wraith was fucking amazing as well. Mm-hmm. Some of the best damn cast of players that I've had the privilege to be storyteller for.
And Timber Brad asks for Urine, when will you finally take back the curse of Steve Perry? It's running like crazy in Werewolf. I'm going to say you can blame Plaguewind for that, because in Blades in the Dark, he decided to be cute and name something. I think it was his dog, Steve the Perry.
And he brought it with him to Werewolf.
And he legit cursed his roles from that moment forward, and he's brought it with him now to Werewolf. You can blame him for that.
And then Ravinia has to talk about Steve Perry before they went live too. So that was like a 1-2 evil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, like I was telling Timber Red, I hope that the curse has found its victim. Sorry, Ravnos. But it's found its victim. Maybe it'll just go away at this point.
It has been appeased by the blood of a player.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is not welcome in Windy City.
See, I think really all you've done is you've given it a tast for blood. So
once it gets the taste of blood, it never goes back.
I don't need that kind of negativity in my dice.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
That you goddamn right.
Just a moment.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one. That curse is a bit much.
Hashtag F in the chat for fucking Eyes of the Creek. Jesus Christ, that cut my heart out.
Okay. So next question that we're going to answer is from Eben Blade. Are any of the cast thinking of striking a deal with the demon and or emissary?
Maybe. Maybe not. Who can say?
Come on, say
You bet
yes.
not. You
Hey,
bet
say
not.
Hey,
yes.
Hey, Tim
Ross-
Brad, those eyes are just for you, baby.
Just,
Ro-
just a little
Roscoe.
yes. Just say yes.
Roscoe, I have a steak with your name on it. I'd like to sell it to you.
Oh, okay.
I will air deliver that motherfucker. It's coming at you quick. Terminal velocity, some might say.
Who knows how it'll play out?
Hard pass. Lamar is making no deals with any demons. He wanted no part of Portia. He wanted no part of the lake spirit. He wanted no part of none of that. He wants no part of any of that trash.
See, and this is ultimately why Lamar and Sam will always get along, is because they are of a single. They are of the same
Jackie's
mind
of the
on
same
this.
fucking mind of that. It's like, let's just pretend like that shit doesn't even exist. Okay.
I don't want to be on your board. I don't want to be on I want to be on your board. I don't want to be on your menu. Just you over there.
Jackie's got enough jobs already. She don't need more.
Yeah, I don't want to be on your board. I don't want to be in your menu. I don't want to be on your marquee. I don't want to be in your fucking zip code. Get me the fuck. Stay the fuck away from me.
I mean, a deal with the demons would definitely be on the up and up. They wouldn't try to, like cheat you on anything.
Depends
would
on
they?
the demon. Faustian. Yeah. Luciferian or Luciferian. He's not bad. A malefactor Ravener. Don't trust a goddamn thing they offer.
Hard pass.
So anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
from...
moving on from that question. The answer is a resounding no. And if someone tries, they are going to be stopped.
Let me put that big red button.
Yeah, that's a no. That's why certain individuals in the coterie are not allowed to be together unsupervised.
So if Ben comes, if Ben the emissary comes and offers to return Ben
Don't you pull that TE bullshit.
So wait a minute. If the emissary comes and offers to return Ben to
no,
Eleanor. No, I didn't say no, Jack, to Eleanor. Would she make a deal for her friend to come back?
Depends on her mood that day, I think. There's a lot of variables that go in like before that. So
Okay, let me make a note.
and there's some information that may get relayed to Eleanor that'll make her realize that that is a fucking trick.
AV bugs on Eleanor. Got it.
So you low jacked her, now you're gonna bug her. Got it.
just be like, "Hi, Sam."
You're gonna get teed so much.
Hey, Big Red, how you doing?
He wants to give Ben back. It's gonna be mark him return to sender. Pow.
Yeah, there would be a guy. There's a guy named Lapua who wants to meet with Ben, and if that ever goes down, that's exactly how that's going to go down.
All right. So Evan Blade asks, is Roscoe Sire / Mala likely to appear in the next season?
As storyteller, I'm going to have to answer that one. We do have a plan for his sire to make an appearance in Chicago. I do not know if it'll be season 4, but we do have a plan. I, as storyteller, have a plan to have Unconscious Celestial show up playing his sire in Chicago itself to deal with the shit that she was told during her previous appearance that was going on with the Chantry, that as a Pontifex, though not of the same area that Chicago is a part of, but still a Pontifex, would want to investigate.
Okay. Maddox asks for Raven. Did you stick with the theme of all characters have a lore sheet?
Yes.
And that's
is-
where that is. No.
Yeah, it's not one that I think anybody would suspect, because I know when I suggested it, I got a whole lot of like, hell yes.
That's fucking awesome.
So yeah, it is. I do have a lore sheet. Is not one that anybody's going to suspect. It'll unfortunately probably the real detectives of VTM will probably figure it out fairly quickly, maybe, but we'll see. So
Okay, we just got her first hashtag. The real detectives of VTM. Yes,
the real
that
detectives of VTM. Okay, Ravnus Archon asks for Mickey. Who put the bop in the bop shoe bop?
Oh, you did, baby.
Of course, we couldn't go too far without some thirst in here.
All right, I'm looking.
We're almost going to get to where the players can ask each other questions.
Yeah, hang on, almost. Okay, so Ravnos Archon asks for the ST. What's one hook, if any, in the water that you feel wasn't fully explored during season 3 that you feel could have changed the course of the story?
There were some things dropped with Sam and Damien's meeting, and then later Damien and Lamar's meeting that could be explored, which would change the course of more than one season. It would change the course of the story in a lot of ways, whether they decide to follow it up or not. But there was some knowledge dropped with that one that could change a lot of things.
Oh, I'm exploring that shit. Don't you worry.
Trying to think of other stuff that could change the course of the story. Mainly because I let the players drive the story. There's not a lot of areas other than that one there. And possibly more digging into the Painted Lady / Narissa to understand the real relationship with the spirit in the lake and those that they assume were pieces on the spirit's board. That could have changed things quite a bit. Or digging more into the Jade Demon side. Portia's, they know that the Portia side, that's Portia. You understand how that operates. It's how do you, until you've dived or dug deeper into the lake spirit or the demon, it's hard to know the motivations. And without knowing the motivations, you can't always second guess how it's going to accomplish goals. And those two are the unknowns that could change the course of the story if they could at least understand somewhat its angle.
Okay. And then Maddox asks, I know this is more a mechanical question, but what is a power you enjoy having as a player specifically?
Premonition's pretty great, as is clairvoyance, but I'm severely biased towards Auspex.
You were the first member of the coterie to get 5 dots.
Yeah, I wanted that 5th dot.
No, she wasn't.
Through gameplay.
Through gameplay.
Through gameplay.
Starting at 35
Not power
XP.
gaming from a get-go, making your character to power game straight to level 5 in potence.
I did it for a reason.
It fits your character. Yes.
It works.
I know I can answer for Roscoe. Illuminate the trail of prey. Don't lie.
No, that's very true. Because that's so useful.
It is
Oh, when you slapped those back-to-back crits down on us, I was fucking ecstatic.
You don't use it often, but when you use it,
you
it's
fucking
clutch.
shine.
Yep.
So what's Lamar's favorite power?
Oh, it's a toss up between arms and the Cloak of Shadows, because both really I felt like paid off this season. Like arms got used mostly in the beginning, but Shadow Cloak I feel like did work this season, and
it stopped you from getting caught between two groups at once in the middle of the damn bar. I mean,
yes,
yeah,
it's very handy.
Very handy. And I like powers. I like the utility powers like that because the really flashy ones, those are awesome to see, but
utility ones are what saves your unlife.
Yep. all the tricky stuff, all the it's like, oh, we think he went that way. Nope, I'm over here, sucker, and I'm out.
Sam's favorite.
My favorite is the power to move you.
Dump.
I should have known that was coming.
Jackie really infrequently uses powers. She really infrequently uses powers. I built her definitely more background and skill and specialty heavy than anything. She's built as true to Ventrue as she can fucking be, for real. She's all about connections and the ability to sway people to her way of thinking. But as far as powers, probably the one that over her unlife that has been one of the handiest for her. I'd have to say, as bad as this is, probably lingering kiss. That brings dinner to you, baby.
See, I thought she was going to say something about toughness, but
Oh,
never
no,
mind.
no. I mean, toughness is great. Don't get me wrong. But
I haven't tested that power yet.
She hasn't needed it yet.
she's roused it, but hasn't needed it. So yeah. But toughness and fortitude powers are clutch. Don't get me wrong. That's going to be the first discipline that Jackie's going to have at 5 dots whenever I can get around to it. But basically, those are clutch because those are what's going to make her survive, period. It's going to make her like every other fucking Venturan really fucking hard to kill. But the most useful utilitarian type power that would have benefited her the most over her unlife would have been Lingering Kiss.
So based on the stuff that Gangrel have access to straight out of the book, I think my favorite power is the bestial feral weapons. I can't remember what it's called now for some reason.
Feral weapons.
The name
Feral
Feral
weapons.
weapons.
feral weapons. Yeah, feral weapons. I think it's really cool being able to just straight up say, I'm going to bite you and do it without having to get a bunch of penalties. Also, the not having superficial and stuff to let you stack a lot of damage quickly. I think it's kind of fun. Though I will say my favorite overall power, this is a spoiler, so anyone who's watching, is a Silence of Death.
Yeah, Silence of Death is fucking, that's awesome.
Fucking love Silence of Death.
If I can go out of clan away from Bruja, my favorite power is a combination of a flaw and a power, which is Eyes of the Beast and Obvious Predator, because I've role played that in the past, and it became a cornerstone of the characterization of that particular character.
I can see it. So that looks like that's it for questions from chat. Let me double check Discord in case anybody posted any questions that they wanted.
I haven't seen
They
any.
didn't. Okay. So it looks like that is it for viewer questions, unless folks have more questions that they want to ask.
Now the cast can ask each other
Mhm.
questions.
Okay, so Bosco, really, you're going to say no, right?
It's a
I
really
really
small word. Really small.
I can't answer that question just yet. Honestly, I can't answer that question yet. It's going to depend on how things play out.
Follow-up question. Devin, you're going to say no, right?
That depends on how the story turns out. Just got to see how it plays, you know?
Yeah.
If the question is not, are you a god? The answer is no.
Don't
The answer is
Yeah, I would say Ben already talked about his feelings about God, or the emissary has. Be careful about your answer if God gets brought up. Dolly has expressed Dolly's feelings on God. You might want to be very careful with even answering the Ghostbusters Ray answer of "Are you a god?" because they might take it differently than you hope.
No, the answer is I'm yours.
Aw. I have a question for our lovely Miss Ivy Raven. How stoked are you to be joining this game?
So fucking stoked. No, I don't know. I know. So my bite mommy, I still call her bite mommy because there's a lot of reasons. She probably understood what it meant to me the most of anybody that I've interacted with on the server. Getting to this point has meant a lot to me out of game personally, like for me, the person, the human. And so I am super, 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 super excited. And yeah, I was like, because I was like, I really don't want to come in and it'd be like, oh no, everyone fucked up. We end after a season. I'm like, fuck, because no. So no, this was a huge deal to me to get into this, and it's not that I have hated my other games I've been in, but like even just watching, you can tell the difference between certain like styles of game and stuff. And there's always been kind of that like that metric. The Shanky games have always been acted as this metric. So it's because being real, Shanky as the storyteller is a big part of why I started following VTM, because I started getting into it because they were talking about Bloodlines 2, and I started looking for streams, and DC by Night was one of like 2 streams that I found. And so I preferred his style of game over what other games I was finding. So it's kind of been that metric for me. And so being able to actually sit at the table and not just be playing a guest character or a one-off for a one shot has been huge. So yeah, like I even told my mom today, I was like, this is such a big fucking deal for me, like humongous fucking deal for me. And she knows how big of a deal it is for me.
I want to say it wasn't given to you. You earned your place at this table. There was a lengthy casting process. There was qualifications. There was a cast meeting, because I do not decide after the stream started. It's the whole cast decides who replaces people if we have an opening. This was not something where she's automatically in there. She earned her place at this table, went through a lot of hell to get through it, like a lot of the people did. There was a lot of auditions and a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes. And you've earned to sit at this table with us. So you're on the same level as everybody here. You are in the same, you're part of the table now.
I just have to remember that I'm at that point too.
Bye, baby. I love you.
If we didn't think you could do it, if we had any question of your ability to do it, you wouldn't be sitting here. That is how that works. Because ultimately, I know it's a game, and I've said this before, though, it is a stream and it is a show.
It is a show.
We try to put on the best show we can. It's improv. It's not scripted. It's not pre-planned, other than general, story ideas that are bounced around. But none of it is planned out to know what's going to happen most nights. Hell, we start the session with me asking, so what is everybody planning to do tonight? I don't quite know.
Yeah, we improv the shit out of stuff.
And, but it's all about putting on a good show. So if we didn't think you could bring it for the viewers to be the viewers to like watching and to be engaging
mm-hmm.
for the viewers, you wouldn't be sitting here with us.
Right.
Because ultimately we have to think of in terms of show first and foremost, because it is a game, but it is a show. It is a streamed entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So see, this is probably me being not coy, but it's, I guess now that the majority of the cast, except for Mickey, how are you, I mean, everybody, Mickey can answer this too, but I guess like, what does it mean being part of Windy City for everybody now that you're actually multiple seasons in? Because I'm sure this was probably a question that got asked in the first Q&A, but now that you've actually had to
I don't
go through the ringer.
That question has never come up, and that's a brilliant question.
Oh, because like I know season 3 was the Empire Strikes Back season.
What it means for us, and yeah.
Season 3 was rough. It was one setback and one punishing event or one emotional event after another. Season 3 was rough, but you need to have those so that we can lighten it a little bit maybe for season 4, and then we can turn the screws again later. So that's a good question, Obi. I don't think that one was asked. So because looking back if you've been a full-time cast member from episodes, the original session 0 up to now, it has to probably mean something. But I know even probably for Mickey, because I've heard him talk about this, I know I have a general idea what he feels it means for him. But I guess I'm curious for everybody what it means to be part of the cast. I've said it's an honor and a privilege to be the storyteller for this damn cast.
I would actually like to hear Mickey's response to that, as he is the other newer addition to our cast.
Okay, so we're on a time limit now.
Which is what it means to you.
A lot. I don't know if I have the vocabulary to properly convey how, because you see, I've been role playing for fucking 3 decades now, majority of my life, and in some form or fashion, in some system or another. And there are good tables There are bad tables, but I've never actually sat at a table like this. And when I was asked would I like to join the table, it was daunting, because as a fan, I watch these wonderful people play this game week after week, and yeah, you gotta come in prepped, and you gotta put in your work if you're gonna sit at this. If you're gonna throw hands with Mike Tyson, you better do some jogging and some freaking chin ups and shit. When you're sitting when I'm sitting at this table on Monday and soon to be Thursday nights, when I'm sitting here talking to these people and actually in a scene, when I'm watching other people scene, it is a transcendent experience, because the level of creativity, the talent, the commitment, you don't get that at every table. And if you find that, you freaking shackle yourself to that table. It's been phenomenal.
Now, Gavin has never played in a McStabber game prior to Windy City.
And he was suckered in and trapped and tricked into joining the cast, which
and
is
he
a whole
went
other story.
through that lengthy fucking audition process and got selected for the table right off the bat. Tell me what this game has meant to you.
You were in my A category, as a matter of fact, based on that, which is if the schedules align, you're in.
I've been playing World of Darkness for about 20 years now, and I've played with, thankfully, the same group of people for that time. So we all kind of know the kind of characters that we play. We know each other well enough to this is what this character will do in a given situation. And I was initially very hesitant at even applying for this game, because I'm like, these are people I do not know, and I am not certain how I'll be received. And so like I said, I got tricked into joining, to applying. And when I was telling my wife, after every cast, I'm like, I don't think it's gonna be me. I'm it's like, and I'm watching everybody. I'm like, oh, you can tell all these people that actually played outside of their own pool before, so they've got chops. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make it. So when I did, that was huge. And being a part of this, I've never gelled as quickly with a group of people that I didn't know as I have at this table. And it has made me look forward to playing every week. I haven't done an in-person session for a long time. It's all been online, and it's all been play by post for a long time. And being able just to meet with people every week and knock out these amazing scenes, and watching, I know Lady Merowith is a different person outside of this, but when I see Eleanor, it's like, okay, I'm sorry, this person is really not this character. You're telling me this is not, it's like, I know Relin is not French, but she knocks down that vein of aristocracy so well.
Roscoe
and
Lance are really the same nice guy.
Yeah,
I hate to break that
That's
to you.
true. That's true.
He's a very accommodating person.
Mickey blowing the doors off, being a Bruja. I've never seen anybody play a Bruja with the actual intensity that at all times, not just when they get mad, but at all times. And Sam putting a table through a wall. It's like, okay, I know. I mean, this guy's a sweetheart off camera. On camera, I'm glad there is distance between us because that dude is scary. And I'm just, and even with what Ivy Raven has brought thus far, just as Abigail, I'm like, not only these people have chops, they know what they're doing, but they're all also extremely welcoming. It's like, hey, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I feel, I don't like to say this much, but I feel blessed to be part of this group.
Oh. Now I'd like to hear from Lady Merewith.
We're saving Lance for last just because he has to think a while.
No, he's going to go before me.
Because he has to think a while on these questions.
Gonna make me follow that?
Yeah, I'm going to make you follow that because I basically told you after playing with you in Savannah that you were a shoo-in for a seat at our table for Chicago.
Yeah. And
because I got to see you play a scene of all of 15 minutes that really let you shine for all of 15 minutes in that game. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're underutilized. Come play with us.
and I almost didn't play. I was too scared to, because I figured, I'm like, man, I mean, they're like, high level playing type people. And I mean, surely there will be other better players than me, but surprise.
And it wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be the same without you.
Honestly, just like it wouldn't be the same without Jackie. It wouldn't be the same without Lamar. It wouldn't be the same without Roscoe.
Better finish. Quit interrupting.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the same.
But yeah, it has been an honor and a privilege to play at this table. As a lot of people know, and I think most people at the table know, is I'm usually DM storyteller. I usually run them. I don't get to play, so this is one of the few opportunities I've had to play, especially in a World of Darkness game. So it's been great fun, and it's been really cool to be able to let loose my inner theater kid, though I was never in theater. So it's been great, and all y'all are amazing. And I know Raven's amazing. We played in an audition together. So
yeah, the auditions were not my best work.
I don't know that the auditions were my best work either. I mean, their auditions.
Everyone was a little off in auditions. We expected that.
Yeah, it was unfamiliar players, that an unfamiliar table dynamic. Without one of the things I've talked about before is we did check table dynamic before we settled on our cast. We wanted to make sure we captured a dynamic that worked. And in the audition process, there was for the auditions, no consideration to table dynamic. It was just watching different people react with other people.
It was checking adaptability.
Right. So, yeah, it is the auditions. We take into account the fact it's an audition, and some people with different people at the table, they react different ways when the table shifts.
Yeah, everybody's awesome, and I love playing with y'all, and all your characters are great. And yeah, that's
okay.
It's not very flashy, but that's what I got.
I love it. I love it. So now.
That's you, Lance.
Looking at you, Lance.
Well, first of all, I don't know how in the world I managed to land into such a great group of players as this. This is a fantastic table. And I've been blessed, being able to play with the Extabber Studios in like, well, three of their chronicles so far. DC by Night, Wraith, and now Windy City. It has been an awesome trip. I never really did this level of role playing before. It was Pathfinder. It was fun, but this is so much better. It's so much more enjoyable.
And you didn't even want to stream. You were one of them hesitant to stream it first with us.
Yeah, and now it's like, okay, let's go.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
I still remember when you noticed that you had fans in chat one night.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute,
that.
there's fans of me playing Steve Perry. I have fans. I'm like, dude, yeah.
Yeah.
You have fans now.
No, Shanky's paying them.
With
Paid
what money?
actors.
Paid
Hold up,
actors in our chat.
Wait. If there's pay to being a fan of yours, where the fuck are my checks?
If there's
Yeah.
pay to being a player of his, where the fuck's my paycheck?
Yeah, because bits of donations people get, but yeah, this is not
I
a
don't
money
get
making.
those.
Well, this is not a money making endeavor for us for sure.
No, not
It's
at
for the love of the game and
We're
the love
losing
of telling
money.
stories in the show. It's definitely not a money maker.
All right. For me, ever since I was a little kid, I loved stories. I loved them, loved them, loved them. I loved fairy tales. I loved scary stories. I loved stories. And I got into role play as far as TTRPGs relatively recently, February of 2019. First time I ever seriously sat down and played a game. And it was Vampire V5. And that's when we started our DC by Night Chronicle. And over the course of now 2.5 years, as we transitioned from a table game to a streamed format, and then we finished up that chronicle, went into Wraith, which, Jesus Christ, Wraith about broke me. And
It did break the storyteller.
Yeah, it just about broke me. But then now playing Chicago and trying to play Chicago and Wraith at the same time was really fucking hard. But I will say that playing Chicago has been Windy City. Has been the first time I've really felt that I am telling the story I want to tell for the character I am playing. And her story would be incomplete without every other single coterie member.
Even our departed players.
Even our
honestly.
departed players are part of her story. And that is huge to me as someone who is a big fan of stories, so much so I've even written some myself. I love character-driven stories, and not just my character story, but watching all of your character stories develop and grow, and how you invest so much into those personal struggles and wins and losses and everything. I mean, I'm just blown away by it week after week after week. And that is the biggest thing that this game means to me, is that I'm just in awe every week of the stuff that we create
And
together.
There's good times and bad times, even behind the scenes.
Please let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
But on top of that, I, as a person, struggle a lot with self-confidence. I'm real good at faking it. I've had a lot of years' experience with that. But I struggle a lot with my own self-confidence. And the past 1.5 years has been massive blow after massive blow to my self-confidence. Slipping into Jackie, who is a big dick energy, boss bitch type character, vicariously boosts my confidence. So playing her week after week is what that does for me. It helps boost me up. Even though her story can sometimes be tragic as fuck and dark and just god-awful stressful, she is still at her core a confident woman. And so playing that helps me feel confident outside of the game. So there you have it.
And I've got to say, though, it's not everyone has glowing things there. There's minor drama behind the scenes from time to time. We're all adults, so that we have our own personalities and our own expectations. And there's tension sometimes behind the scenes with, when should an episode end? Should things have been done differently at the time? Those kind of things. But we're all adults, and we work through it, and the table survives, and we find a way to address these situations, and in adultish manner. I say adultish because I am adultish. And then we continue forward, and the game goes on, and we still, week after week, we're here.
The maturity of the players at this table is stellar, because we are all able to speak to each other as adults and work through our problems when we have them. and come to workable compromise and solutions.
Even my stubborn ass, which is saying a lot.
So it's amazing. This group is amazing. And I look forward to it every week. And it sucks when we take breaks because I miss it.
Yeah, she was already commenting, she won't get to be Jackie again until we're going to record our intermissions. But
yeah,
other than that, not until season 4. But
yeah,
we have to take these season breaks. We all
I understand
need the
people
breaks.
need them. I personally don't, but other people do. And I respect that.
It needs to happen. That's,
All right. So Maddox did have a question. For everyone, what is a DEFCON 5 situation for the coterie and how would you go about handling it? I will actually answer that first from Jackie's perspective. A DEFCON 5 situation for Jackie is a coterie member in danger. Because she protects those that are loyal to her. That is a DEFCON 5 situation. A legit someone in danger of losing their unlife, Jackie's going to DEFCON 5.
To clarify, we're talking DEFCON 1.
DEFCON 1, really. Yeah. DEFCON 1. Basically, it's red alert. Get everybody on all hands on deck. We're going to solve this fucking right now. Yeah. That is Jackie's true red alert situation is somebody in the coterie is in danger. I mean, she frickin' stared down a demon to make sure Eleanor was okay. That is Jackie on red alert.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with that. I mean, the well-being of one of the other coterie mates is really the only thing that would be worth jumping into that kind of situation. I mean, we try to remain under the radar just about for everything else, but that would do it.
For an example, look what happened when Delilah was threatening Destiny.
That's again Jackie going on
Jackie
red
and
alert.
Lamar, both of them.
Yeah, her and Lamar told her what she needed to know to move forward with getting that bitch fucking eliminated.
Yep, both of them. It was a risky play. It was not low profile, but to protect Destiny, Jackie and Lamar, both of them, because Lamar came out not just telling her what she needed to know, but Lamar shared some things that he really wasn't wanting to share to make sure that Jackie understood the gravity of the said situation.
Mm-hmm.
And
God, I love that scene. That's still my favorite. One of my favorite scenes with Lamar and Jackie.
It just
that
shows.
car ride was just that talk in that car was so good.
It just shows how far they're willing to go and take risks to protect coterie member. I'm gonna point out Eleanor with the son situation. Broke Jackie's heart telling Eleanor to get her memory wiped, but it was for protection. It's for her safety, not the rest of the coteries. Hers.
And the way the coterie also came together around Eleanor with the whole son thing, because I think everybody was like, you want to do this? We didn't see anything, so it's like do what you need to do, and we don't talk about it after this. But I think also for Lamar, definitely if something's happening with anyone in the coterie, it's time to go to it's time to some people to can't fuck around and find out.
I mean, look at how Sam reacted just hearing the shit son was doing. Look at how Sam's reacted to any threats to any member of the coterie, not just Eleanor, any member of the coterie. Sam's reaction is, we're just going to eliminate the threat. We're going to make sure everybody's safe one way or another.
The DEFCON 1, freaking the nuclear option. When Bosco called Sam into the city, Sam came loaded for bear, and there are very few, some would say no, problems that cannot be solved with high explosives. And there are cars fucking queued up and waiting at the end of the postern for when we lure we lure our enemies into the club, blow up the club, and then drive off into the moonrise.
Jesus Christ, Mickey.
My car is so pedestrian. Sorry.
No, it's actually not pedestrian. It's vehicular.
I'm still mad that Lamar rolled well enough to notice the car about to T-bone him because I was going to fuck up Sam's car.
Oh no, that would have been that. Whether or not that guy was MC'd, it wouldn't have mattered. He would have been fucking dead. It wouldn't have been. It would have been. It would have been fucking pop, pop, pop. That's what you get, motherfucker.
I tried.
But if he's dead, his insurance isn't going to cover the damage. So sorry.
His insurance wasn't covering it anyway. It's
It's just a joke. You're over that. No, I will say for my character, she hasn't done anything yet. But I see. I'm like, what would she go to DEFCON 1 for? So I don't want to give the obvious like, oh, the coterie people, because that is something she doesn't have right now. She has to work into that kind of thing. So
given your backstory, you will go for injustice,
yeah,
or for those who can't protect themselves.
But I was going to say, in that vein, I will admit, Genevieve has hands that are rated E for everyone, and she throws them around willingly. So
yes, she does.
Because though everyone else doesn't get to see the backstory, we went through the Shanky Session Zero method, which for those who are curious what it is, that's next Sunday. But she sticks up for those a lot of times who can't stick up for themselves. And it's not always fighting. You just did it different ways. But you tried to make sure that you looked out for those who you felt were in a position of weakness or not able to take care of things on their own. So I've seen that already. It's going to be very interesting to see that play out on stream.
So what would make Eleanor go nuclear?
Oh, I mean, same thing. Somebody she cares about is in danger.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty limited, especially since once she gets a little piece of information from Roscoe, basically the coterie are her only friends. So, yeah. So
we're gonna have to work on season 4 of getting Eleanor some more friends.
Don't worry,
building out her network.
I plan to have Ralph come up in season 4. Does that count?
That's not a friend. That's an enemy. Jackie will off that one just out of hand.
Yeah, just asking for it.
I'm going to warn you that there's a line. There's a line, and I'm very fast.
I'm waiting to see the Ben thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like the whole. No, we're not talking about the idea of Eleanor going nuclear.
Yeah, that's scary.
This is a terrifying thought.
That's a terrifying prospect.
Sam was brought to the city to prevent that eventuality. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I think we have already seen a hint of what makes Lamar go nuclear in the finale.
He doesn't take betrayal well, that's for sure.
That's for certain.
No, he does not.
Yeah, it had and fans of the show, watchers, listeners, etc., had Bosco not said the magic word, that would have been a face full of dragon's breath. Because do you want to talk because what did Sam say in the very first driving home or driving back to the friggin' club in episode 10, season 3? What the fuck are you doing with Templar Lamar Cade? How do you know he's not going to backstab you? This was Sam's worst fears coming to pass because he was starting to instill a little bit of faith in Lamar.
Yeah.
Sam, he did not trust himself in that moment, so that's why he looked to Roscoe. And Roscoe said the magic word, Lily. And okay.
But no, it was not okay, as Lamar expressed. It's really not okay.
Not okay at all.
So we have seen a bit of what tips Lamar over that edge. Basically, he is willing to write off Tally after this betrayal. He is willing to write off most of his fucking clan after this betrayal. That's Lamar going fucking nuclear. He's like, fuck all y'all. I'm out.
I've said it before and I will say it again. Watching Lamar for that last 45 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
I was glued to your fucking window, dude.
Fuck yeah. You play a passionate Lasombra so fucking well.
Thank you, because I'm like, am I overdoing it? Am I
No,
underdoing
it's so
it?
good.
But I'm glad it came across
It's
well.
so good because you play it cool most of the time, but there is that fire in him. And when that comes out, it's a beautiful thing to see. Let's see. Ravnos Archon says, speaking of people you want to bring in, any non-spoiler names you can drop McStabber Studios?
Well, we've got a gangrel in the coterie. So Rosa Hernandez will start to make an appearance. She's the gangrel Permigen. And Kadja Al-Kindi will be making appearances. I've got a storyline planned for that. And that is the Banu Hakim, the diplomat from the Banu Hakim who was sent to the city. She hasn't come up yet, but
That'll be interesting.
she will. Other than that, there's a couple other characters. There's a Nos, I forget her name, that I'd like to bring in. She's a gamer / hacker. That just half of her face looks hideously burned, but the other half doesn't. And she's actually famous on social media, which would be interesting to do. And there's a couple other odds and end characters, but those are the two big ones. It's time for some Banu stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Semites, Banu Hakim are always game changers.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a very interesting character. She's a woman, Banu. And I actually got her character sheet pulled up here. She was embraced in 1876, which should tell you something of her capability, because Banu really weren't embracing many women then. A few, but not many. It was predominantly male.
Mm-hmm.
That should tell you a bit about her
Mm-hmm.
and what she's capable and her level of abilities.
No, that'll be awesome. I like getting new SPCs.
Because she is not,
Playing a master networker, I'm like, I love getting new SPCs.
she's not like, she's not an American Banu. She's Egyptian.
Yeah.
And in 1876, it was a very
Mm-hmm.
misogynistic,
claim.
male-dominated society, but not her. So that'll be an interesting one to see happen. I've got some plans and some works for that.
All right, so I think that's about it for questions. Unless cast have other questions for fellow cast.
I mean, yeah, but
Ivy Raven breaking us in fucking Zoom chat. Oh, I'm calling you out.
That's right. Still not as bad as Lamar hitting us with Rick rolling us by typing out. Never going to give you up. Never going to typed it all out in Zoom chat while we were doing
Yes,
the scene.
he did.
yeah, next she's gonna make a limerick out of it.
Ravnos Archon says he's hyped for season 4. You know what? Honestly, so are we. But really, I think the majority of us here are hyped to actually film the vignette content that we are filming for in between seasons, because it is going to pick up where the finale left off for the coteries portion of the vignette. But first, it will have what actually happened prior to the coterie arriving.
Get ready for the gut punch of watching Nolan's fall.
Right. And then seeing the aftermath.
Immediately go back to the aftermath of
Episode
because that aftermath
10.5.
wasn't resolved yet. We stopped in the middle of that aftermath.
because I like the cliffhanger.
Right.
And I will freely admit this, the players they did not agree with the stopping point of the finale. And that is their right. And my right as storyteller, I wanted it to end where it did for the cliffhanger that I like to do. But the solution to different levels of expectations between storyteller and the players is we will fill in the rest of that scene as the intermission so that we don't start off season 4 with it immediately right back in that same room, which would set a different tone for the season. And that'll be a good way to do it.
Holy shit, yeah, Lamar, you totes my goats were fucking Lando.
Yeah. Yeah.
Changing this deal.
Do not change it any further. Jeez, Crow, you got fucking bone.
And for me, I will say as storyteller, the way I wanted to end the finale was you don't know for sure Eleanor's response about her sire. You think you do, but you haven't seen it for sure. You don't know how Jackie's going to respond to Justicar Lucinda showing up. What is Lamar going to do? Is he going to stay there? Is he going to admit to a Justicar what he was part of? Could he even lie to her? Would he have a hope in hell of lying to her?
Probably not.
You know,
He's already tested that evening.
right.
so-
Roscoe is pretty safe on that one, but I mean, Roscoe's going to be in the room with somebody that if he says what he sees
Mhm.
is a problem. And Mickey's at 4 hunger. Sam is at 4 hunger.
Yeah.
So you have Jackie. She's going to be caught between her Justicar.
Not her Justicar.
Well,
Justicar
Clan
Clan.
Ventru
Yeah.
Justicar, and her duty to Justicar Parr and her duty to her own coterie,
Mm-hmm.
because she's got choices she's got to make too in this situation, because she could spill things on Lamar that would be keeping with her duty to her clan and to her Justicar, but would betray the coterie.
Right.
But to keep that is betraying, in some ways, her duty to her clan. Where does Jackie's real loyalty lie? And that's why I wanted to end it where it is. But we will make sure before season 4 starts, you get to find out how that all plays out.
Yeah, because actually what's coming up as far as our Sunday streams for Vampire, Shanky's running a session 0 that he has an open casting call for in Discord.
Yep, until Tuesday.
Until Tuesday. So if you want to participate in the session 0 part.
The unique session 0. Now,
Mhm.
this is not going to be, as I've said, this is not a role to be recurring, though if the character's good enough, it might end up a guest at some point.
Might be a guest at some point.
I mean, that's, I love doing that.
Yep. And basically, that's going to be airing on the 22nd at the normal time slot for our Vampire streams at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then that vignette that we are been talking about that's
Intermission.
coming up, the intermission, is coming up on the 29th at 5 p.m. Eastern. So basically, season 4 will be returning in early September. We're not going to do it Labor Day weekend.
That'll be the summary.
That'll be the season 3 summary because it'll include the vignette content, because that basically ties into the end of season 3. And then after that, that next weekend, that next Sunday, which I believe is the 9th. Let me double check.
12th.
12th?
Mhm.
12th.
12th, we return.
Yep. On the 12th of September, we will return with season 4.
And as always, you don't have to watch the season summary. You've already seen the season summary.
Mhm.
Though I will admit, I do drop some spoilers and hints as to what's coming when I do those summaries. So you don't have to see them, but there is reasons even if you're current, to catch up on it. And your boy Twitch actually answers questions from time to time
Mhm.
In character, not as storyteller, but as your boy Twitch, from what his feelings are in the city.
Yep.
Because, your boy Twitch has his own. And I will give away one spoiler. You will see your boy Twitch appear in his first official appearance in season 4.
Yep.
Not as a intro summary. You will see your boy Twitch appear in character
As an SPC.
as an SPC during season 4.
Mm-hmm.
So be ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
That should make you wonder what I've got planned.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
All right. So I think we are done. So go ahead and start closing us out, Shanky.
Okay. Well, I'm glad everyone came for the Q&A. If you have any other questions and, you think of them later, put it in Chi-Town chat on the Discord. Matter of fact, join the Discord. As you've heard tonight, we cast our shows from the Discord. I've got an open casting file for my unique session 0 method. It's very unique. You come into it without a character made, and it goes through your timeline of birth to embrace. And it's a different method of doing it, but everyone who's done it so far has enjoyed the experience because they come out of it knowing how their character thinks, at least. And then we work from there. We also do a weekly Friday community hangout. It's basically Friday nights. We fire up Zoom. Any member of the Discord can join the Zoom. No camera required. Hang out and chat a bit. Stuff about the show comes up. Stuff about other shows come up. Stuff that has nothing to do with the shows come up. It's just us shooting the shit, hanging out with people. And it's a lot of fun. You get a lot of just to know everybody. We do a monthly non-streamed game, party game. Right now it's Blood on the Clock Tower. I do plan to post up looking for when we're going to do a murder mystery party with the Discord. It's non-streamed because we can't really stream those, but we're going to do one of those. If you like what we're doing, of course, follow us here on Twitch. We are, as of right now, 2 follows away from 900 followers on Twitch. So that's, we're getting there. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. It's free, costs you nothing. If you want to support the studio, subscribe here on Twitch. If you got Prime, you can do it. It's part of your Prime membership. You can do a free subscription that way. Bits and donations, they go to the players, not Relin and I. We are the studio. We don't get the bits and donation. That's for the players, for people to show their appreciation for what the players do. It's not much, but it buys them a coffee or, bits and pieces and stuff once in a while. Let's see, if you want to catch back episodes, the links are here in chat. Back episodes, you can go to our YouTubes and watch all those, not just for Windy City, but all the shows on McStaver Studio are in one of those 3 YouTubes, depending on who's running them. Get your season 3 merch, because we're changing merch for season 4, because we've got to have, a new movie poster that's, you can see behind me. There's going to be a new one because, we've got a new player, so it's got to change. There's going to be a new mug with the new Windy City, but get your Windy City merch. Check out our friends right there in chat. There's a list of other channels that we like to support. One of them's been commenting in chat constantly, Ravnos Archon. Unfortunately, he just died in the werewolf stream last week because of Steve Perry's curse.
Now his Tuesdays are free.
His Tuesdays are free. He runs a great game. He runs Star Wars, Legend of the Five Rings, monthly one-shots. He's got a Vampire Monday night, which now that we're going to start recording Thursdays means I might actually be able to catch. That'll be interesting to finally get to catch that game. Trying to think of
always look
studio.
for the silver lining.
That's right. I'm going to turn the schedule over to my wife. She does the schedule.
Yep. So as I said, we are going to be having our session 0 with Shanky. I'm not going to be in it. It's going to be Shanky casting it straight from Discord with people that are not in the core coterie cast here. Basically to have them create backstories for their characters, to create the life of their character up to embrace. And it's going to be fascinating. I love that session 0 method. It is brilliant at creating a fleshed out character that you understand. So that's coming up Sunday.
And I want to say one of my criteria is I do tend to pick members of the community, active members of the community. That don't mean ones that just post on Discord, because some people don't post on Discord. Matter of fact, Lady Mirrorwolf doesn't post a lot on Discord, but she's an active member of the community. She talks in Twitch. She comes to Zoom chats when she can, when her game schedule, sometimes she's late to her game because of it. It's just, I look for active members of the community as a way to give back, to let them sit with me and on
rewards
on
for
stream.
your participation.
Yeah. It's just a way to thank you for your support. So I'm not saying that's the only criteria, but I do factor that in.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
So basically coming up, we have on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Werewolf the Apocalypse, Phoenix's Call. This is going to be episode 6 after this pack just lost a member.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to...
Because that was how that episode 5 ended, was that loss. And I am not sure if I'm going to be okay seeing how they all react to this.
Yeah, I don't know where they go from there, losing one like
Yeah.
that. I mean, he died a heroic death, but
Yeah.
damn.
So that's on the 17th, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Come check that out. That's run by Ravinia. She's amazing. She tells a wonderful werewolf story. Please check that out. It's set in 1996, Cody, Wyoming, and it's a brilliant story. Then on, Saturday, we have our Call of Cthulhu, London Esoteric Society at 3 p.m. Eastern. Now, is Tiss doing her thing she was talking to you about?
Yes, I believe her plan is to do a giveaway during that episode.
Yes, she's planning to do a drive-thru RPG giveaway during her stream at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday during Call of Cthulhu, London Esoteric Society. So do tune into that Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then, like I said, on Sunday is the Session 0 method with Shanky at 5 p.m. Eastern, Sunday the 22nd.
And I'm aware I have a YouTube video of the Session 0 method. It was done
with me and him.
With just Rillin and I. It doesn't show it with multiple people and how it would work. And the quality of that video was when we first started. It's not up to Shanky specs anymore. and it's god awful garish, and I don't want to inflict it on anybody. So it's going to disappear from the YouTube channel and be replaced with this one that doesn't burn your eyes out with a garish red color that makes you want to stab yourself with a pencil. Because it was rough. And everybody, so you know, mental health, it's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. Please take mental health seriously and check in on those around you. Check in on family, check in on friends, check in on loved ones. Please make sure they're okay. Do not assume people are okay right now, because it turns out a lot of people aren't. And hopefully you could be that rope they need, or that helping hand they need to pull them from the edge, because it's a tough time for everybody right now. And if you are someone who suffers from mental health issues, like many of us do, myself included, reach out to those around you. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, right now in chat, there's a list of numbers that you can actually call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that will help you and will talk with you without judgment to help you work through it. Because we care about our viewers and everyone in it. And if you're not from the US and you want to know what the support lines are for your country, there's a website and chat linked right now that you can click on that will show you the support in your country. Because everyone, mental health, there's nothing wrong with suffering from mental health issues. We all need help once in a while. It's been a rough weekend for me in particular. And I still say this, reach out if you need to reach out. So I'm going to turn this over now to my wife for her part.
I've said this so many times, but I'm going to keep repeating it until everyone goes and gets their fucking COVID vaccine. I am the nicest mean nurse you'll ever meet. I am legit a registered nurse. I've done population health, community health, infectious disease work. My understanding of infectious diseases is off the fucking charts. You need to get your COVID vaccine. The way it works, it actually programs your cells to prevent that infection from latching on. So you need to go get that COVID vaccine. For real. Get it done, protect yourself, thereby also protecting others. Surges are happening because of the Delta variant. People are dying in droves from this Delta variant when they become infected because they haven't been vaccinated. Please, please, please get your vaccination. Please.
Please. Yes, you can still get COVID after being vaccinated, but odds are you don't end up in the hospital and you don't end up suffering what's called long COVID, which is the long-term after effects that a number of people are still suffering from, even though they've gotten over COVID. The long-term health effects are devastating. So please get your shots. And I'd like to thank, again, this amazing cast that I have the privilege to be storyteller for.
I love all of y'all.
And I thank my viewers that are out here and our viewers, the McStabber Studios family at this point. I thank you all for your support and for coming out with
and
these
we love
wonderful
all
questions.
of you, our community.
And I thank you. And we will see you. Well, I'll see you next week.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them will be doing whatever they want for having a weekend off. But I will see you next week because I don't get weekends off.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.